A bona fide historical document indicates that a band left Paris heading west, probably towards England. On this route, about 50 kilometers from Paris, we find an amazing story which may reveal an important hiding place linked to the Order of the Temple. Let's stop at Gisors in Normandy, where a man claims to have discovered the Templars' treasure 60 years ago. The Château de Gisors, perched on a motte, was actually occupied by the Templars for several years. Furthermore, they were held there after their arrest. Among the distinctive features of the Château de Gisors, amazing graffiti can be seen in a tower known as the Prisoner's Tower, carved into the stone by prisoners in the Middle Ages. For defenders of the Templars' treasure theory, this graffiti gives some clues. There is, for example, a depiction of a chariot which could have transported the famous treasure. More amazingly still, there we can also see depictions of North American Indians, a unique representation which is all the more curious as it has not been seen in any other castle in Europe. For the historian Amalric Kozowinski, all these distinctive features deserve serious study.
Unfortunately, the graffiti has still not been widely studied by historians, if only because of the difficulty in interpreting it. As it is impossible to date it, impossible to put it into exact context, it is impossible to use it historically.
A further curiosity, on one of the graffiti representing Christ descended from the cross, we can read the inscription Victor Hugo, the famous French author who wrote Les Miserables and Notre Dame de Paris.
One has to wonder if it was just someone else who engraved Victor Hugo's name. Luckily, we know that Victor Hugo wrote that he really did visit Gisors, and that the site had a profound effect on him. In fact, he details that he carved his name twice at the castle.
Why would Victor Hugo have been so interested in the Château de Gisors as to leave behind marks that we can still see today? For those who defend the theory of the treasure or of the secret, Victor Hugo knew that there was something important at Gisors. That may, however, be what Roger Lemoine thought, a local man who would move into the chateau in 1929, employed by the local authority to be its guardian as well as its gardener. This man, from a modest background, would quickly become impassioned with a local legend which evoked images of a fabulous treasure. Jean-Patrick Pourtal has been studying the Gisors affair for more than 20 years. He knows the story and the extraordinary life of Roger Lemoine.
This is where he worked and lived, and he knew the legends told in the area about the treasure which might be a Templar treasure. Clearly, he was impressed. So impressed that he started to search. Imagine being in his place. The end of the day comes, the castle is closed, and he is alone. So he starts digging. And he will do whatever he needs to do, taking his time. He even asked for permission from the town hall to excavate, and the town hall told him, yes, go on, excavate. If you find something, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So he pushes ahead. The Germans come and seize the castle. He's very worried, but in spite of everything, he carries on. It becomes his obsession. He keeps going and searching. He carries on searching. The war ends, and the Germans leave, and he keeps going. He keeps searching. And one day he is digging above us here in the dungeon. He digs an amazing pit, and there he finds something.
What Roger Lemoine says he found is an underground chapel, an incredible treasure chest. His description is precise to the tiniest minutiae. He conjures up a chapel in which there lie 19 stone sarcophagi, 2 meters in length. He also claims to have counted 30 chests of precious metal, all of which would of course be the treasure belonging to the Order of the Temple. Very quickly, Roger Lemoine alerted the local authorities so that they could come and see his incredible discovery for themselves. The town's mayor, accompanied by a small committee, arrived at the site and saw Lemoine's work.
When people arrive to check what he has told them, all they see is a pit that has not been securely supported, and which has been constructed in levels. It does not seem stable, and looks as though it's going to collapse. 2 people nevertheless try to go down, but come back again quickly, for fear of being buried alive.
Among those who risked their lives in the dangerous pit was the captain of the town's fire brigade, and his account is somewhat disturbing.
One of the things the chief fireman was reported to have said was that he threw a stone in and that he did hear an echo. But at no point did he say that it was an underground room. He just said that he heard an echo, and that is the only testimony that confirms that Lemoine did find a cavity.
And yet the mayor, mindful of the dangerous nature of the excavations and giving no credit to Lemoine's account, would order that the pit be filled in as quickly as possible and that all the holes dug by the chateau guardian be secured. Roger Lemoine would be fired a few days later and expelled from the home he had occupied as part of his job. But why did the authorities of the time not try harder to verify Roger Lemoine's discovery?
Even if we take the view that he invented the whole story, the simple fact that the chief fireman could hear an echo should have sparked some interest. They could have at least suggested that it was looked into further, that the pit was propped up, that further work was undertaken. If there was nothing or just a small cavity contrary to Lemoine's testimony, then it would have been known for sure that Lemoine was mad. And if there was something, it would certainly have been interesting from a historical and archaeological point of view. But no, that is not what happened. That is not what happened at all. There was a total blackout. Everything stopped. Everything shut down. This signaled the start of the Gisors affair.